corporate training that changes your life for the better. Like, who would have thought that would? Hello. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Life's Messy, Live Happy. I'm Wakeman, and I'm a drama researcher. I am so excited. On today's show, I am going to be talking about two of my favorite topics, playing favorites and working with the willing. As I was out traveling the past week, I ran into a couple of my former employees. There are many, many allegations flying today from employees about past bosses. And they reminded me of one of the things I was accused of that I'd totally forgotten about. They reminded me that after about 3 weeks of working for me, they both came to me and said, "Sai, you play favorites." And they were shocked by my response because I actually said, "You know what? Yes, I do. Do you want to be one?" And they were taken aback because they hadn't run into a boss before that played favorites. But folks, I play favorites. I don't play favorites on what should be illegal and hopefully still immoral reasons, like the color of your skin or where you got your education or who you love or who you choose to worship or spend time with. But I do play favorites on how accountable you are and how willing you are to say yes to what's next and to say yes to the organization. I play favorites based on your accountability levels and your adaptability levels, and I make no apologies for it. I play favorites, and you know why? The marketplace favorites, our customers play favorites. This is a competitive game, and if leaders, we don't play favorites, and our customers are playing favorites, we're not gonna be there with the competitive advantage that we've promised. So I'm here to blow away some of your most deeply held beliefs, like leaders shouldn't play favorites. Well, you know what? It's fine to play favorites. In fact, I would highly recommend it. So it was the best accusation I've had in a long time. Sai, you play favorites. Why, yes, I do. Would you like to be one? This is the part of the show that I take questions from viewers. So today I've chosen a comment from Mindy L. She writes, "Sai, I have one staff member who totally runs the show and controls everything. Since I came into a managing position above them, I'm trying hard to change things, but it's hard because they won't cooperate. My response to you is work with the willing." Now, most of the time in leadership, we're asking people to get everybody on board and to motivate others and get everyone bought in. And here's the reality, is that you can only work with the willing. And if you're not working with the willing, you'll be spending far too much time bargaining, cajoling, begging people for their buy-in, which should be their choice, their gift. It's the starting point. Otherwise, game over. I think a story might help. Some of you know that I'm the mother of 8 sons. I have 4 stepsons and 4 of my own. And we live on a lake. And each spring, we make the big announcement that the boat is in the water. It's wakeboarding time. And my kids know the drill. They know if you want to go wakeboarding, you've got about 15 minutes to get downstairs, get in the boat, sunscreen, water bottles, wetsuit if it's springtime and still chilly, and then we leave. I will take whoever's in the boat when it's time to go. I was off my game this last year, and one of my kids was in the kitchen when the other 7 were in the boat, and I needed to be down there with them. And instead, I'm entertaining a conversation with the resistor. "Mom, how long are we gonna be out? If I get a better option, will you bring me back in? Can we listen to my playlist? Can we eat the restaurant I wanna eat in?" All of these requests and bargaining to make sure that I was giving him everything he needed to be able to sign up and come with us. And as I looked out the window, there were 7 willing people sitting in the boat, steaming because their wetsuits weren't yet wet. And I was in the kitchen with the most resistant, and I had to apologize. I said, "You know what? I am misleading you right now. I shouldn't be giving this any time and attention. I'll be down with the willing." And I went, and we left. I got a phone call from that son who said, "Where are you?" I said, oh my gosh, we're in the boat wakeboarding. Where are you? And he said, well, I'm in the kitchen. I'm like, well, it's going to be so hard to wakeboard there. There's no water. There's no boat. And he was so bummed. And he had a natural consequence. He got left behind. Now, not all of your resistant folks will step in the boat just because you quit enabling them. But I tell you what, if they don't or if they do, it's their choice. But where you're given time and energy and recognition and reward are to the people who are in it to win it. So work with the willing and stop worrying about the resistor. In today's episode of The Roundtable, I am absolutely thrilled to have Ray and John Shanahan. They're with Business Solver, and too many of you don't know about Business Solver. So I'm going to let them explain quickly what their company provides for other organizations, and then we're going to get into talking about RBL. So who wants to take what, in one sentence or less? No, I'm kidding.
In a paragraph or less.
A paragraph or less. What is it that you provide to companies?
Well, I'll jump in and then I'll, for sure, Ray, add if you have more to say there. But we provide insurance technology software that really empowers employers and employees as it relates to their benefit selections. And we're just developing technology, cool tools to make it easier and easier. Take something that's super hard to understand, like all your insurance benefits, which I'm sure, Si, you understand all of them well.
Not at all, exactly.
Something you want to spend a lot of time on, and we're using technology to just make it easier.
I love that because I think it really empowers people if they can understand simply what's available, then they can make accountable choices. One of the things I love about the roundtable is we get businesses to share like what's really worked in getting people to adopt these principles. And John, you brought up the Business Solver way. And so I really want you to expand on that because that has been amazing for people to really interact on a daily basis with the principles.
For sure.
You know, one of the things we do every single day, we have stand-up. And we've been doing it since 2012. And every morning at 8:30, all the teams get together.
Love it.
And it is a big investment for an organization. And, you know, I can't believe that you let us do it still. But you think about every morning, 30 minutes, people get together. They talk about what's going on, but we always end with a segment called the Business Solver Way. And it's about reinforcing who we are, why we're here, what our learnings are. And we want to continue to bring you into our workplace. And we've just, as you know, we've chosen to adopt your virtual training program. And we're going to get employees certified.
I love it.
But the second piece of it is we also want to work with the willing.
Yeah.
You might say that
These
every
guys
once in a
are
while.
experts at working with the willing. They just don't even fret about anybody who's not on board yet. You're like, we're going to work with the willing.
Exactly.
Some of the most expensive cars that you can buy, take a Ferrari, right?
Yeah.
It is also the most expensive on maintenance. And so if you think about it and you just accept, yes, you know, there are going to be some people that have drama, but maybe they lose sight of it. And so you get into your index and you say, you know, basically if they create too much drama, you know, then it's not going to work out, right?
Yeah.
And the formula is going to be upside down. So I think, you know, you can come in, Si can come in, you can create a great effect, and for a period of time, people that can be, it's in check, right? And so we just started to say, hey, listen, if we work with people that are willing to change, and we make them there's awareness around this, and some, you know, sometimes it exists, but oftentimes people want to change it.
They do. Once people know their drama quotient and that it's not helpful, a lot of people do want to change it. They just didn't know there's a price to drama. They just thought it was cost of doing business. I'm great, and I can be a little dramatic sometimes.
Or it's like what we say, that the gossips don't know they're necessarily gossips,
that
right?
They don't.
Right?
Especially when they're gossiping to you about the gossips.
Right. So the drama, they don't know that they're drama. And so the way to positively, you know, address this situation is put it in the scorecard, have it in the one-on-ones, have a conversation about it, and look at it and talk about it. You know, has there been drama this week or not? Or is it in check?
And that's why a lot of people say, when do you give up on people? They ask me this. They're like, when do you just, you know, get rid of people? And I tell folks, as long as somebody's willing, I'll stick with them for quite a while because this is really counterintuitive stuff for some folks. It's really different than how they've been rewarded in the past or lived in the past. So I'll stick with people as long as they're willing and on a weekly basis can self-reflect. And
there's change though, there's evolution, right?
There's evolution.
You're down a path where you see growth. But I think,
Nobody's setbacks, but there's growth.
Yes.
Overall, there's evolution.
The two are tied oftentimes, right? The folks that are telling themselves stories can be dramatic, right? Because the story can get really big and I've got to get it out there and talk about it.
Yeah.
And so then how do you manage it? How do you work with it?
What you guys have really done by working with the willing, which I really want to focus on this piece, because a lot of people talk to me about how do we change the culture?
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you can't really change a culture. You can change a climate.
Yes.
And then you can have like this cool kind of global warming. Well, how do you change a climate? You work with the willing, right? And a lot of people, when they hear my stuff, they're like, well, that won't work with Ed. And I'm like, don't worry about Ed. Yep. Work with the willing, and then those are the cool kids.
Yep.
And then you start to get more people that are the easy converts. And you really can build this momentum where then after a few years, those that don't fit are pretty obvious. And then you feed this with your new hire. Like, people are hired for this. You guys are interviewing for it, and then you onboard them with the challenge. And then, you know, it's obvious your people are being fed daily. Actually, they aren't even being fed. They're eating, they're hunting their own food daily. If it's not their stand-up meetings and the Business Solver way, we see them. They are online. They are watching our stuff. They're sharing our stuff. They're commenting. And it just becomes a way of you're accountable for your own mindset, your own employee value, your emotional expensiveness. You mind your own drama quotient.
Yep.
And if you aren't, we have a lot of people who will help nudge you back into this effortless way of doing business.
And if not, you know, John Miller has a book called QBQ.
I love
in
that.
it, one of the chapters
endorsed my first book. I was
Did
so
he really?
grateful. Yeah,
That's
I was
awesome.
so grateful. He's a
One of
good
his
guy.
chapters is my favorite chapter, and I tell new hires on their first morning, it's believe or leave. And you know, that's just it. You have to commit. There's going to be good days, bad days, and you just have to make the best of it. But you said it better in your latest book.
Yeah. So
Stay in
joy
joy.
or go in peace. And I love where he's like believe or leave, but for me, the way you say and the way you leave is even more important.
Yes.
Totally agree.
Because if you're here, dig in, help us understand how we can like believe and stay, but do it in joy, or leave in peace, but leave because you don't prefer it here, not that you blame us and judge us. But too many people think there's this third option, like I can stay in hate, or I can like stay in critique, or I
Stay
can
and be in misery.
Stay and be in misery, and you'll pay me to stay and criticize you. And I let people know, I'm like, there's just no third option. Well, one thing I always know for sure is it's a blast whenever I'm with the two of you. Thank you for the honor of being able to work in your organization, the partnership, the collaboration. It's been a pleasure to have my friends from Business Solver in this episode. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I had a blast talking with John and Ray and the work they're doing at Business Solver to create an incredible organization. And remember, it's okay to play favorites for the right reasons. And if you want a wonderful strategy to deal with those resistors, work with the willing. You'll give them choices to make. Remember,